Choose one out of the two options. There's such a good thing. Take care of Master 9, of course. Lu Xinchen blurted out in his joy. Anyone who was not a fool would know what to choose. Even if they do repay the $5 million, Master 9 might not let them off just like that. However, once Master 9 was dealt with, they would have nothing to worry about anymore. Lu Xinyan nodded in joy and said gratefully, "Thank you, uncle." "Thank you, uncle. It won't be too late to thank me after I've dealt with him." Su Jingxing replied coolly. As he spoke, he looked at the 5 angry and terrified men and asked, "Call Master 9 and tell him that the siblings have gathered enough money. Where can we find him to return it?" "Yes, yes." A man with long hair took out his phone with trembling hands and dialed a number. "We're looking for Master 9, not you," Su Jingxing added. Afraid that the long-haired man wouldn't understand, Lu Xinchen said bluntly, "We're all smart people. After the call gets through, I'm sure you know what to say, right?" I do." The long-haired man didn't dare to cause trouble and hurriedly nodded. After the call went through, he cooperatively only said that Lu Xinyan and her brother had already raised the money and asked where to return it. After hanging up, he bowed and smiled apologetically at Su Jingxing. "Mas. Master 9 said to bring them to Dingshang to return the money. He is there now." "Very good." Su Jingxing replied coolly, "Let's go. To Dingshang. Let's go, to Dingshang." Lu Xincheng's face was full of excitement. He first moved the unconscious buzzcut man to the street, then closed the supermarket with Lu Xinyan. Led by the long-haired man and company, the group headed straight for Dingshang. Master 9's real name was Jiang Zhuyang, and Dingshang was a club. The city where Lu Xinyan, Lu Xinchen, Jiang Zhuyang, and the others were in was called Anyang City. It had a population of more than 8 million and belonged to the Dahong prefecture. Jiang Zhuyang was a 7th-grade martial artist and was quite famous on New Industry Street in the eastern district of Anyang City. The Dingshang Club was located at the end of New Industry Street. The surroundings were quiet and peaceful, and there was not much human traffic. Jiang Zhuyang had made friends with many influential people through Dingshang, and he had great connections. But since Su Jingxing wanted to mess with him, he gave no hoots about his connections. The group arrived at Dingshang. With the long-haired man and company leading the way, they did not encounter any obstructions. When they saw Jiang Zhuyang, this 7th-grade martial artist who had almost destroyed Lu Xinyan and Lu Xincheng's family, was dressed in a suit and leather shoes. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and was savoring his wine with a high-end aura. "Miss Lu, have you really thought it through?" Jiang Zhuyang ignored the others. Behind his gold-rimmed glasses, he looked at Lu Xinyan and said gently, "Being with me is more than 10 times better than working day and night at a supermarket. Are you sure you want to give up just like that?" Lu Xinyan did not respond. She turned to look at Su Jingxing, who had restrained his aura to the extreme. Lu Xinchen kept silent as well and also looked at Su Jingxing, whose presence was almost non-existent. The 5 others lowered their heads and trembled slightly. "Why? Master 9, we've captured them." A loud shout interrupted the puzzled Jiang Zhuyang. A young man with a hostile aura quickly walked in through the open door. Behind him were 7 to 8 burly men. These burly men held a man and a woman who were tied up and had cloth stuffed in their mouths. Thump! Thump! With a dull thud, the man and woman were thrown to the ground and the cloths in their mouths were removed. The door of the private room also closed at the right time, isolating the sound. "Please spare us, Master 9. Please spare us. We were wrong, we were wrong." The man in his 40s with his body tied up was lying on the ground, curled up and twisting. He shouted at Jiang Zhuyang, "I was wrong, I was really wrong. Master 9, give us a chance. I will definitely repay the money as soon as possible. 3 days, no, 1 day. As long as you give me 1 day, I will be able to raise the money. Master 9, I beg you, I beg you. The man cried out in fear, his face covered in tears and snot. The woman did not shout. She only curled up and trembled uncontrollably. Seeing this, Lu Xinyan's face turned pale. She took a few steps back and shuffled closer to Su Jingxing. Lu Xincheng swallowed his saliva and also moved closer to Su Jingxing. Miss Lu, Brother Lu, let me introduce. Just like you, these two owe me millions. Jiang Zhuoyang sipped his wine and said slowly, the difference is that they chose to escape. They thought that if they escaped, they wouldn't have to pay up. Now that I've captured them, how do you think I should punish them? Lu Xinyan lowered her head and Lu Xincheng kept silent. Su Jingxing watched the show. You have nothing to say? Jiang Zhuoyang took a sip of wine and shifted his gaze. He sized up the crying man with a smile. Look, Brother Lu and Miss Lu have nothing to say to you. Do you think you can escape punishment by admitting your mistake? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. The man groveled on the ground and hit his forehead hard. Master 9, I was wrong, I was wrong. Since you're wrong, you have to accept your punishment. Jiang Zhuoyang raised his hand indifferently and calculated. I won't make things difficult for you. How about this? Your family owes me a total of 6 million great dollars. 1 arm or 1 leg for $1 million. That's $8 million with all of your limbs. It's up to you to decide which arm or leg to give up. No, 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 I was wrong, Master 9, I was wrong. The man was trembling all over. Tears streamed down his face as he cried, Master 9, I was really wrong. Give me a chance, give me a chance. The woman was even more direct. She slumped to the ground in fear. Why? You don't know how to choose. Jiang Zhuoyang acted as if he was unaware and said in surprise, all right, I'll help you. You can pay the first million with your left hand. With that, he waved his hand and gestured for his subordinates to get to work. 2 burly men immediately stepped forward, grabbed the man's legs, and dragged him to the washroom in the private room. No, no, no. The man screamed in fear. I think, about this chopping off arms and legs, shouldn't we find someone to try it out on and familiarize ourselves with this technique first, said Su Jingxing coolly, his voice echoing in the room. Swish. Jiang Zhuoyang suddenly looked over. The young man with a hostile aura and a group of burly men followed closely behind and looked at Su Jingxing. Lu Xinyan and Lu Xincheng froze on the spot. The long-haired man and company were trembling all over and groaning inwardly. It's coming, it's starting. Su Jingxing, who had been quiet all this while, was finally about to make a move. Who are you? Jiang Zhuoyang's gaze was like a torch as he stared fixedly at Su Jingxing. He raised his hand and gestured for the 2 people dragging the man by his feet towards the washroom to let go of the screaming man. Together with the other burly men, they surrounded Su Jingxing. It doesn't matter who I am. What's important is that I'm here to return the money for Lu Xinyan and her brother. Su Jingxing took 2 steps forward and stared at Jiang Zhuoyang from behind the 2 burly men. He chuckled and said, the siblings owe you $5 million. According to what you said, 1 arm or 1 leg will offset $1 million, right? Yes. Jiang Zhuoyang's eyes flickered. Why? Are you going to pay for them? Of course. Su Jingxing clapped his hands and sent the 2 burly men who were blocking his way flying to the sides and crashing into the walls. Swoosh! Swoosh! His body swayed and he drifted. Su Jingxing arrived beside Jiang Zhuoyang at lightning speed. With 2 pops, he tore off Jiang Zhuoyang's arms and threw them into the air. Before the arms landed on the ground, he quickly stomped on Jiang Zhuoyang's thighs. With 2 bangs, they exploded. In less than 2 seconds, Jiang Zhuoyang's 4 limbs were destroyed. He fell to the ground in a daze. It wasn't that he had lost consciousness, but that everything had happened too fast and he couldn't react in time. When Lu Xinyan snapped back to her senses and let out a scream of shock, everyone, including Jiang Zhuyang, then snapped out of their daze. Ah! Jiang Zhuyang's miserable cries resounded through the private room. The heart-wrenching pain was killing him. The others were extremely shocked and all stepped back. They looked at Su Jingxing with nothing but fear. Too fast. Unbelievably fast. The 7th grade Jiang Zhuyang actually lost his arms and legs without noticing anything. Who is this person? What ghostly speed was that? You're courting death. In his shock, the young man with a hostile aura rushed toward Su Jingxing with red eyes. A short sword appeared in his hand. In a flash, the young man pounced toward Su Jingxing with his footwork. Yes, I'm still short of 2 million. Su Jingxing dodged easily. He grabbed the young man's right arm, and pulled it off. Then, he kicked his right leg, causing it to explode. The young man who had lost an arm and a leg fell to the ground. His face was deathly pale. He gritted his teeth, his body trembled, yet he refused to scream. Now I have everything. Su Jingxing clapped his hands and glanced at the others. The 5 long-haired men and the group of burly men had no intention of resisting. Thud, thud. They dropped to their knees on the ground, trembling and not daring to make a sound. Lu Xinyan and Lu Xinqing gaped in shock. That's it. It was settled so easily. The man and woman who were still tied up were also wide-eyed with disbelief. Saved. They were saved. Ah. Ha ha, the man's bitter laugh slowly turned into loud, manic laughter. Ha ha ha, Jiang Zhuyang, it's your turn to fall today, it's your turn to fall today. Jiang Zhuyang, whose limbs were crippled and looked like a human stick, was completely finished. Without his limbs, Jiang Zhuyang would live a life worse than death. Putting him in this tragic state was even more satisfying than killing him. Ha 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 ha. The man burst out laughing non-stop. Kill them. Kill them. Jiang Zhuyang howled crazily. Su Jingxing sensed something amiss and turned to look at Jiang Zhuyang. In the next moment, he turned to the young man who was shrouded in a hostile aura. The young man pulled out a remote control with his left hand and pressed it hard. Badump. Su Jingxing heard a powerful heartbeat. Not only was the heartbeat strong, it was also rather familiar. It seemed like... Boom! With a loud bang, the wall on the right side of the room suddenly exploded. Bricks and stones flew everywhere as a tall and burly figure rushed out and pounced at Su Jingxing. Swish! Cold blade light tore through the air and illuminated everyone's eyes in the room. The invisible and boundless might was like a huge rock that weighed down on everyone's hearts. Breathing was difficult. Su Jingxing, who was the first to bear the brunt, bore the most weight. However. Whoo! Bang! Strong wind swept, and muffled thunder-like sounds reverberated. The burly figure flew out diagonally the same way it rushed toward Su Jingxing, crashing into the wall connected to the corridor outside the room. With a loud bang, a huge hole appeared in the wall on the other side of the corridor. Screams and shrieks came from every corner of the club at once. The panicked crowd was running around in a mess. Ignoring the stunned Jiang Zhuyang, Lu Xinyan, and the others, Su Jingxing walked out of the room through the gap in the wall and came to the room on the other side. He stood beside the burly figure covered in broken stones. It was nearly 4 meters tall, covered from head to toe in mechanical battle armor. Sharp weapons were installed on its arms, palms, calves, feet, head, and other key parts. There was a clear mark on its chest. Su Jingxing had seen several identical ones in Qinghe City. That's right, the burly figure who rushed out from the room next door and attacked him, only to be sent flying by Su Jingxing's kick and killed on impact, was actually a barbarian warrior. A barbarian warrior wearing a mechanical battle armor. Su Jingxing lifted its mask and stared at the rough and fierce-looking barbarian. He frowned hard. Jiang Jiuyang actually hit a barbarian warrior. The young man with the hostile aura even carried the switch of this barbarian warrior with him. He had merely helped a pair of ordinary siblings who had saved him, but he had unexpectedly discovered something important that he had almost forgotten. Barbarians. Back then, Su Jingxing didn't investigate the mastermind behind the barbarian warriors causing a commotion in Qinghe City. No one knew about the mysterious boss behind the scenes who made the barbarians dressed in battle armor and the team that controlled them. After the Martial Suppression Office took over, Su Jingxing no longer paid attention to the matter. To think that there were barbarian warriors who looked exactly the same in Anyang City. If it weren't for the fact that Jiang Jiuyang's limbs were crippled and he wanted revenge in his madness, Su Jingxing really wouldn't have known that there was an unactivated barbarian warrior hidden next door. For barbarian warriors whose breathing and heartbeat were frozen, it was almost impossible to discover them, be it through secret abilities or perception. If Jiang Jiuyang had one, the faction behind him would definitely have more barbarian warriors in their control. Who exactly is this mysterious big boss? There are setups in Qinghe City, Anyang City. Does that mean the same in the other cities in the U-Nation? Su Jingxing's interest was piqued. Regardless of what motives this mysterious boss had, Su Jingxing now had his sights on him. Quick, quick, quick. Keep an eye on everyone. No one is allowed to leave. A calm shout came from outside, accompanied by a series of messy footsteps. The next moment, a group of soldiers and generals from the Anyang City's Martial Suppression Office rushed into two private rooms under the orders of the commander. Don't move. Don't move. A row of black muzzles were aimed at Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing said calmly, "Please get your commander of city governance to make a trip here. I'm Dai Shizhong, Chief of Control of Anyang City's Martial Suppression Office Eastern District Branch. May I know who you are?" A muscular man in his 30s with a cold aura and a strong killing intent stared at Su Jingxing with shining eyes and questioned in a deep voice. Su Jingxing did not respond. He only moved aside slightly, revealing the barbarian warrior's battle armor and appearance. "Sir, you." Dai Shizhong wanted to say something, but his gaze suddenly froze. He stared at the barbarian warrior and said in shock, he. That's right, he's a barbarian. Barbarian. It was just one word, but the meaning it held was extraordinary. Especially when this barbarian was wearing mechanical battle armor. The battle armor was well equipped with firearms and cold weapons. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call such barbarian warriors killing machines. Yet one had appeared in Anyang City. This is serious. Cold sweat rolled down Dai Shizhong's forehead, and his expression turned grim. When he took another look at the barbarian warrior, and saw the deep mark on the chest of the mechanical battle armor, his eyelids twitched hard. One strike to kill a fully armed barbarian warrior. Dai Shizhong did not possess such terrifying strength at all. In other words, Su Jingxing was at least a 5th grade or even 4th grade expert. Gulp. Swallowing his saliva, Dai Shizhong suppressed the shock and astonishment in his heart and humbled himself. "Thank you for killing this barbarian in time, senior." Su Jingxing looked to be in his 40s or 50s and was a 5th grade or even 4th grade expert. Dai Shizhong no longer dared to be arrogant and quickly addressed him as senior. As for his gratitude, it was also sincere. If this barbarian warrior were to run out of the club and start a massacre on the streets, countless people would die. The Eastern District was his area of responsibility. When there were deaths, Dai Shizhong would shoulder the greatest responsibility. When the barbarian warrior appeared, Su Jingxing quickly killed him. It was equivalent to helping him resolve a big problem. Dai Shizhong was sincerely grateful. "Senior, please wait a moment. I'll contact the commander now." As Dai Shizhong spoke, he took a few steps back, took out his phone, and called the Anyang City's commander of city governance. He gestured for his soldiers and generals to put away their weapons and guns. Inwardly, he heaved a sigh of relief. Su Jingxing had a great attitude. If it were any other 5th grade or 4th grade expert, they would most likely have gotten angry and crippled the person if someone had pointed a gun at them. Firearms were a threat to martial artists in the lower ranks, but they were very limited to martial artists in the middle ranks. Given Su Jingxing's ability to kill the barbarian warrior in one strike, if he really wanted to make a move, all the soldiers and generals in the room would collapse in a single round. With this in mind, Dai Shizhong broke out in cold sweat. He exhaled and reported the situation to the commander of city governance who had picked up. "Commander, something has happened." Su Jingxing listened to the conversation between Dai Shizhong and the commander of city governance of Anyang for a while before stopping. In comparison, the barbarian warrior was more attractive to him. He squatted down and forcefully opened the battle armor to check the internal circuit structure. He realized that the battle armor had already fused with the barbarian's flesh and blood. In other words, from the moment the barbarian put on the battle armor, he could no longer take it off. Once removed, it was equivalent to ripping out flesh and blood. Apart from that, there was a large piece of metal connected to electronic circuits wrapped around the barbarian's heart. The mastermind controlling the barbarian warrior was clearly using this metal piece. It's quite advanced. Su Jingxing stared at it and prepared to remove the metal piece. Card +1. The extraction notification suddenly sounded. At the same time, exclamations and rebukes came from outside. "What's going on?" Su Jingxing stood up and asked curiously. Inwardly, it was clear as day to him. Someone had died. It's Jiang Jiuyang. He was bitten to death. Dai Shizhong, who had finished his call at the door and heard the shouts, replied before walking over quickly. Su Jingxing followed behind and returned to the previous private room. The first thing he saw when he walked in was a bloody hole in Jiang Jiuyang's neck. Large amounts of blood were gushing out. His wide eyes were filled with indignation and resentment. Not far from Jiang Jiuyang, the man whose limbs he had almost chopped off earlier had blood all over his mouth and face. He was panting and laughing miserably. The lips of the 2 martial suppression office soldiers holding him twitched. Just now, after the soldiers untied the couple, this man suddenly pounced over, grabbed Jiang Jiuyang, and bit and broke his neck. Lu Xincheng leaned close to Su Jingxing and explained in a low voice. Fear appeared in his eyes as he looked at the man whose face was covered in blood. To forcefully bite and break Jiang Jiuyang's neck, this fellow was also King lunatic. Given Jiang Jiuyang's tragic state earlier, living the rest of his life would be nothing but torture. Now that the man had bitten him to death, he had instead freed Jiang Jiuyang, even though Lu Xincheng also wished Jiang Jiuyang would die. Of course. Dai Shizhong was the one with the biggest headache now. He looked depressed and angry. Speechless, he glanced at the man whose face was covered in blood. He turned to the surrounding soldiers and scolded irritably, "Didn't you guys eat lunch? You can't even keep an eye on an ordinary person." He needed Jiang Jiuyang alive to get information from him. Now that he was bitten to death, who was he supposed to ask? The soldiers lowered their heads in shame. They were also a little angry, but Jiang Jiuyang was already dead. Everything they said would be useless. They could only remain silent. Su Jingxing remained silent. He reached into his pocket with his right hand and silently took out the last 2 cards he had extracted. One came from the corpse of the barbarian warrior, and the other from Jiang Jiuyang's corpse. He held the cards and read the descriptions. As expected, the barbarian warrior gave a martial arts practice card with 5 years of practice time. Jiang Jiuyang's was a memory card containing 10 years of memories. Although it was only 10 years, Su Jingxing quietly unlocked it. After quickly browsing through these memories, he praised this fellow inwardly. Jiang Jiuyang's faction and backer not only had more barbarian warriors in their control, they also kept the barbarian warrior reserves at home. This move was too ruthless. Su Jingxing was sincerely impressed by the other party's boldness and meticulousness. The commander is here. Greetings, commander. Greetings, commander. A series of shouts came from outside the room. The furious Dai Shizhong perked up and looked at the door. Su Jingxing also stopped thinking and turned to look. Before long, a muscular man who was nearly 2 meters tall with a fierce aura and a bare head walked into the room with thumping footsteps. Greetings, commander. Greetings, commander. Dai Shizhong and his subordinates shouted respectfully at the bald man. Senior, this is Commander Tinghejing, the commander of city governance of the Martial Suppression Office. Dai Shizhong introduced him to Su Jingxing. Then, he also introduced Su Jingxing to Tinghejing. Commander, this senior is the one who discovered and killed the barbarian warrior in good time. As soon as the burly and imposing Tinghejing entered the private room, Lu Xinyan and Lu Xinqing shrank their necks and retreated to a corner, not daring to make a sound. The man who had bitten Jiang Jiuyang to death and his wife also kept absolutely silent. Tinghejing's aura was too dense and domineering. Without any restraint, he was like a ferocious tiger that strode down the mountain, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Even though they were standing still, their hearts and bodies were trembling. But this did not affect Su Jingxing at all. Tinghejing's physique was indeed very strong. Clearly, he had cultivated a special body-tempering martial art. With such physique, the strength of his blood and chi alone could rival a 6th-grade martial artist. Perhaps, like Su Jingxing previously, he had reached the limits of the human body. Commander Teng, what do you think of the barbarian warrior's corpse? Without any pleasantries, Su Jingxing went straight to the point. Tinghejing did not answer immediately. Instead, he first examined Jiang Jiuyang's corpse. Then, he waved at Dai Shizhong and ordered calmly, "Bring everyone out of the club first." "Yes," replied Dai Shizhong respectfully. He instructed his soldiers and generals to bring the Xian siblings, the man and his wife who had escaped death as well as Jiang Jiuyang's subordinates away. Everyone left the club. Tinghejing faced Su Jingxing and cupped his fists respectfully. "May I ask if you are in the 3rd grade, senior?" "So what if I am, and so what if I'm not?" Su Jingxing smiled calmly. "If you aren't a 3rd-grade martial artist, then the only way for me to deal with the barbarian warrior's corpse is to incinerate it. The matter of Jiang Jiuyang hiding a barbarian will be filed away," Tinghejing replied rigidly. Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows. "And if I am one? If you are a 3rd-grade martial artist, I would like to be so bold as to ask you for a favor," said Tinghejing respectfully. Su Jingxing narrowed his eyes. "What favor?" "To get rid of a lair of scourges in Anyang City," Tinghejing replied calmly. "To be honest, this isn't the first time I've discovered barbarian corpses in the city. Before this, I've already seen 2 of them. They were both wearing mechanical battle armor and were fully equipped when they were alive. The person controlling them is as powerful as Jiang Jiuyang. Their organizations aren't small nor big, but they both have a certain amount of areas they manage." "And then?" asked Su Jingxing coolly. "It's extraordinary for barbarian warriors to be wearing mechanical battle armor to begin with. The appearance of one such case is shocking enough, let alone 2. Including this time, there are 3 cases. As for those hiding in the dark, I don't know how many there are. As the commander of city governance of Anyang City's Martial Suppression Office, I began an investigation immediately after discovering these matters. I didn't do it openly, but secretly. In the end, I discovered that including Jiang Jiuyang, everything behind the scenes all point to a faction. The Jia family. The Jia family is a local martial arts family with a legacy of more than 200 years. They are deeply rooted in Anyang City and are involved in various industries. They are powerful and influential. Let's not talk about the things in secret. On the surface alone, the Jia family has 4 4th-grade experts and as many as 20 5th-grade ones. The background of the Barbarian Warriors issue pointed to the Jia family behind the scenes, so all the more I didn't dare to act rashly. I only reported the incident on the surface and continued to investigate in secret. In the end, I discovered that the Jia family was related to a certain faction in the capital. Or rather, the Jia family was controlled by a large faction in the capital. In order to support the Jia family to hold down the fort in Anyang City, the faction in the capital sent a 3rd-grade expert over. The favor I want to ask from you is to hold back this 3rd-grade expert. Tinghejing stared at Su Jingxing with burning eyes. Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows and said calmly, "Be more specific." "All right." Tinghejing nodded and said seriously, "After many explorations, deductions, and investigations, I've obtained shocking news. The Jia family has more barbarian warriors hidden in their manor, not outside the city, but in the Jia family's residence in the north of the city. Hiding barbarian warriors in the city. No matter what schemes the Jia family has, they are a huge danger. In order to get rid of this danger, I moved around in the dark for a long time and successfully surrounded the Jia family's residence. I also invited the 2 generals of the prefecture army to cooperate with me. However, because there is a 3rd-grade expert guarding the Jia family's residence, the operation hasn't started even until today. Senior, if you're in the 3rd grade and are willing to help restrain this 3rd-grade martial artist, I'm 80% sure that I can round up everyone else in the Jia family's residence in one swoop." With that, Tinghejing fixed his gaze on Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing's expression remained unchanged. Deep down, he was surprised. That's right, Tinghejing's investigation was very accurate. Through Jiang Zhuoyang's memory card, he learned that the Jia family had indeed hidden barbarian warriors in their manor. Su Jingxing had even seen the exact location. The Jia family's influence and strength in Anyang City was equivalent to the Li family in Qinghe City. Tinghejing actually wanted to get rid of them. He had to admit that he was truly gutsy and bold enough. Compared to Li Linzhou, Tinghejing's style was clearly more domineering. "Since you've brought in the prefecture army, wouldn't it be better for you to get a commander to be in charge of restraining the 3rd-grade expert from the capital?" Su Jingxing analyzed calmly, "As long as the commander from the prefecture army sees through the Jia family's conspiracy to harbor barbarians, no matter how powerful the Jia family's backer is, the family will be abandoned. I want that too, but I'm not 100% confident." Tinghejing's expression did not change. He said calmly, "The Jia family also has connections in the prefecture army. The 2 generals I found are my own connections. Strictly speaking, this is considered operating in private, so they are also bearing significant responsibility. Once the encirclement and suppression of the Jia family fails, they will be expelled from the prefecture army. As for me, I might lose my life. No, I most probably will." Hearing this, Su Jingxing chuckled and sized up Tinghejing. He said indifferently, "If you fail, you will die. But you still dare to crack down on the Jia family? Or rather, are you, Tinghejing, never afraid of death?" "Who isn't afraid of death? But being afraid of death doesn't mean that you don't dare to take action." Tinghejing said in a deep voice, "Opportunities come with risks. If we succeed in encircling the Jia family, I will also get a huge reward. At least a 50% chance of advancing to the 3rd grade. Got it? This is a domineering person, a rational person, and a crazy person. There was a 90% chance of dying if he failed, but if he succeeded, there was a 50% chance of advancing to the 3rd grade. For the sake of the 3rd grade, the 80% chance of successfully annihilating the Jia family was enough for him to take a gamble. Of course, this probability was based on the premise that Su Jingxing was a 3rd-grade martial artist and held back the 3rd-grade expert in the Jia family's residence. If Su Jingxing didn't help, he wouldn't even have a 10% chance of success. As for rashly confessing to Su Jingxing and asking for help, it was obvious that Tinghejing had already studied Su Jingxing's background on his way here. Lu Xinyan and her brother had rescued an expert who had fallen from the sky. In order to repay the siblings, he took action to get rid of Jiang Jiuyang. Finally, he killed the barbarian warrior who ambushed him and got someone to inform him to come over. No matter where such a person came from or what his identity was, he could at least befriend him. Of course, Teng Hejing also made a bet. If he lost the bet, he would lose his life. If Su Jingxing was related to the Jia family, Teng Hejing would be courting death by saying these words. However, if he won the bet, Teng Hejing would have a 50% chance of advancing to the 3rd grade. For the 3rd grade, he would take the gamble. Crazy. At this thought, Su Jingxing did not say anything else. He only manifested his martial art true intent, the Sisui Horn Dragon. Roar! A materialized black horned dragon appeared in the air. With a savage aura and a ferocious face, a snake-shaped body circled around Su Jingxing. The terrifying pressure pushed out ripples in the air. Like a mountain, it crashed down on Teng Hejing. Teng Hejing was shocked and pleasantly surprised. With a thud, he half-kneeled on the ground. Suppressing the palpitations in his heart and the terrifying pressure on his body, he raised his neck, flushed red, and growled, "Thank you, senior." Although Su Jingxing didn't say anything, his actions made clear his attitude. He had agreed to encircle and annihilate the Jia family. Putting aside the fact that barbarians were mortal enemies of humanity, just the fact that there was a high chance of extracting martial arts practice cards from killing these barbarian warriors in mechanical battle armor alone was worth it for Su Jingxing to act. As for the Jia family with ill intentions, they were the least important. If Teng Hejing destroyed the Jia family, there was a 50% chance that he would advance to the 3rd grade. Su Jingxing didn't care where this probability came from. Teng Hejing most likely also had someone backing him. Since Su Jingxing had agreed to help, Teng Hejing quickly took action. In less than an hour, Su Jingxing arrived at the Jia family's residence in the northern district of Anyang with Teng Hejing. These martial arts families with a history of more than 100 years not only had manors outside the city, they had also established their own small worlds in the city. In ancient times, they would be residences. In modern times, it was an entire estate, luxurious villa estates at that. Are you sure everyone from the Jia family is in the compound? On the rooftop of a 7-story building on the periphery of the Jia family's residence, Su Jingxing looked at the compound from 400 to 500 meters away and asked Teng Hejing calmly. Most of them are. Suppressing his excitement, Teng Hejing replied in a low voice, the core members of the Jia family rarely go out. Even when they do, my people are watching them in the dark. Before we took action, I had already confirmed that most of the upper echelons of the Jia family are gathered in the residence. I've also informed those watching the remaining few. Once we take action here, they will follow suit elsewhere. That's good. Su Jingxing nodded calmly. Senior, don't worry. My men and I have repeatedly deduced this operation no less than 100 times. Even if there are fish that escape the net, there won't be more than 10 of them. Teng Hejing promised, as long as we find the barbarians and prove that the Jia family is a traitor, everyone in the Jia family will become wanted criminals and be hunted down all over the world. This was Teng Hejing's greatest source of confidence. Barbarians and humans were mortal enemies. No matter what the Jia family was plotting, or what benefits they had received from the mysterious boss behind the scenes, as long as barbarians were found in the Jia family's residence, they would be doomed. All the human nations on Earth Star would have no room for them, let alone the U nation. At that time, what would the few fish that escaped the net be? Su Jingxing naturally understood this logic. Therefore, he did not mention it again and said calmly, let's begin then. Right away. Teng Hejing calmed his breathing, picked up the walkie-talkie, and ordered, everyone, get ready. Attack. A scene of peace. Nothing happened in the sky or on the ground. However, within the range of Su Jingxing's range, a ball of energy aura was quickly produced and surging in all directions of the Jia family's residence. Who is it? You are courting death. A furious shout came from the Jia family's compound. However, it was already too late. Swoosh! 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 Blinding pillars of light suddenly appeared from 4 directions in the Jia family's residence. It was an intense white light that burst out from the ground, piercing through the ground and into the sky. Like a white rainbow that pierced through the sun, they towered into the sky. Then, at lightning speed, the light pillars connected with each other, forming a curtain that firmly trapped the Jia family's residence. The building that Su Jingxing and Ting Hejing were in happened to be just outside the light barrier. Through the translucent light barrier, one figure after another appeared darting around in the Jia family's compound. An array formation. A trapping array formation that charged into the sky and surrounded the Jia family's residence and isolated it for 400 meters all around. In the array formation, almost no one other than 3rd-grade martial artists could fly into the air and escape. 4th-grade martial artists could indeed fly with the help of lightness skills, but it was still rare for them to reach more than 1,000 meters in the air. And bang! 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 The sound of walls collapsing or breaking suddenly sounded. Under Su Jingxing's astonished gaze, cannons, machine guns, and rocket launchers protruded from the buildings outside the Jia family's residence. The exits of these firearms were all pointed at the Jia family's compound and the air. Su Jingxing quickly sensed around and realized that no one was controlling them. Instead, they were being controlled automatically or remotely. Setting up these firearms outside the Jia family's residence right under the nose of the Jia family, Ting Hejing is impressive. First, he trapped the Jia family members in the array formation, preventing them from leaving. Then, he would bombard them with firearms. If the plan failed, the overwhelming public opinion would drown Ting Hejing. No matter how strong his backer is, he would have to kill himself to apologize. This fellow is indeed a lunatic. Fire! As Su Jingxing sighed, Ting Hejing, whose face was flushed red and eyes filled with excitement, ordered an attack. In an instant. Boom! 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 The cannons lit up and the bombs were thrown into the air. Huge fireworks fell into the Jia family's courtyard and bloomed, destroying buildings and killing the Jia family members. Screams, shrieks, and angry roars came from the residence. Dust billowed and flames soared into the sky. Ting Hejing. A figure shrouded in light soared into the sky from the ruins and swung his fist at the array formation's light barrier. He roared at Ting Hejing, Ting Hejing. I'll take your life. Ha ha ha. Ting Hejing laughed out loud. Jia Shangshu, I'm afraid you won't have a chance to do that. Fire. Boom. 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 Deafening explosions sounded once more. Cannonballs flew out from the barrels and rocket launchers and landed in the Jia family's compound. Go to hell. Be ****. The Jia family's experts reacted by punching, slashing, swinging, and drawing their swords, detonating the shells in midair. Some people even rushed out of the Jia family's compound and pounced towards the building where the firearms were set up. Da-da-da. Swish. 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 The sound of air tearing sounded at the same time as the sound of heavy machine guns. Densely packed bullets blocked the routes and stopped the Jia family martial artists from coming close. Some were shot on the spot and fell to the ground with heavy injuries, while others endured it and forcefully charged over. But the moment they got close. Boom! The ground shook, and the flames were like dragons. The building where the firearms were located turned into ruins with a loud bang. Many of the Jia family's martial artists who rushed over were injured and killed. Ah! The patriarch, Jia Shangshu, roared hysterically when he saw this. Ting Hejing. I want you dead. I want you dead. Boom! As he roared, Jia Shangshu's body shone brightly. He circulated his true energy crazily and charged into the sky. Buzz! The empty air shook. At this moment, a thin figure suddenly appeared in the sky above the Jia family's compound. You stay. I'll take care of Tenghejing. Swish! Without waiting for Jia Shangshu's reply, the thin figure soared into the sky. Jia Shangshu expended a lot of true energy to fly into the air. However, not a trace of true energy leaked out from the thin figure. On the contrary, worldly energy spiraled and danced around him. A faintly discernible shadow of a hungry wolf seemed to overlap with the thin figure and dispersed the airflow. It easily carried a body and soared into the sky like a rocket. It's the third-grade expert guarding the Jia family. Tenghejing's pupils constricted. He quickly turned to look at Su Jingxing. Sen. Before he could say, Senior, he froze on the spot. Because Su Jingxing was gone. Tenghejing didn't know when he had disappeared either. He hasn't esca. Boom! A clap of thunder suddenly came from the sky, and the sound of muffled thunder echoed through the world. Crack! Crack! Boom! The stunned Tenghejing looked up and saw a thick bolt of lightning shooting through the air above the array formation. Like a giant python, it bent and refracted from top to bottom, striking a figure. The thin figure possessed by the wolf phantom shuddered and fell from the sky. The worldly energy wrapped around him was dispersed, and the overlapping shadows of the hungry wolves were instantly shattered. Su Jingxing stood on Thunderbolt and floated in the air. He looked down at an old man who wanted to rush into the air and leave the trapping array formation. Thunderbolt released the power as a spirit weapon and struck the old man. It wasn't over yet. A third-grade martial artist would not die so easily. Su Jingxing was already prepared. After the lightning struck, his true essence surged and wrapped around his fist. He aimed at the old man and threw the 100 steps raining fist. He released 100 years of true essence cultivation. Once 100 years of true essence cultivation erupted, the terrifying power produced would continuously stack as the attack swooped down. During the stacking process, it shattered all the air and plowed a vacuum in the air. The old man who had just been struck by lightning suddenly tensed up. His eyes lit up as he roared. A hungry wolf materialized and left his body to float above his head. His true essence was like water, sticking to his body and forming the appearance of an armor. Stopping in midair, the old man unleashed his aura and shouted as if venting his anger. But... bang! The fist imprint that almost shattered everything landed, and the martial art true intent of the hungry wolf that appeared exploded on the spot. His protective true essence that suffered the second wave of attacks also failed to hold on and was also broken in a second. The fist imprint that still carried terrifying power struck the old man's chest. Countless beams of energy shot out, and the old man's chest caved in. Blood splattered and the crisp sound of bones breaking echoed through the air. However, the fist imprint that swooped down did not dissipate just like that. Instead, it continued to bombard until it pierced through the old man's body. Only then did the remaining force land in the Jia family's residence with inertia, blowing up a building and causing the ground to collapse. Dust, debris, and broken rocks flew above the ruins. Strong winds blew and energy stirred. The sky and ground were dead silent. Jia Shangshu was stunned. Everyone in the Jia family was dumbfounded. No one shouted anymore. They were either lying down, standing, or lying down. They forgot about the pain in their bodies and gaped at the old man's corpse that was slowly descended from the sky. A stiff corpse with a huge hole in its chest and back. Dead. The old man from the capital, a third-grade expert, died just like that. His martial art true intent was shattered by a single punch, his protective true essence was broken, and his body was penetrated. Who is it? Who exactly is this figure floating in the sky? Jia Shangshu was shocked and terrified. Tenghejing, on the other hand, was extremely excited. He laughed loudly in his excitement. Ha ha ha, everyone, listen up. Enter the array formation to kill the enemy. Go. Swoosh. The sound of rushing wind could be heard. Tinghejing was the first to rush into the array formation and attack Jiashangshu. Wearing a jade pendant on his waist, he was like a fish jumping into water when he passed through the light barrier of the array formation that connected ground and sky. A glow appeared on the surface of the jade pendant. It wrapped around his body and he easily passed through the light barrier. Kill. Swoosh. 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 Behind him, the experts from the Martial Suppression Office and the Prefecture Army entered the array formation with similar jade pendants. On one side, morale and fighting spirit was high. The other side was terrified and their morale was nearly non-existent. As soon as the battle began, it was one-sided. The members of the Jia family were forced to retreat step by step. Pleading and miserable cries sounded non-stop. The people from the Martial Suppression Office and the Prefecture Army swung their blades and punched out, creating bloody paths. Soon, the battle ended. The ground and ruins of the Jia family's compound were covered in blood. Dead people were everywhere. Jiashangshu, whose face was as pale as a sheet and had lost a hand, lay in a pool of blood, laughing bitterly. Tinghejing, you're ruthless. You destroyed my Jia family today, but you'll still die tomorrow. Ha ha ha, Jiashangshu laughed weakly. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Not only will I not die, I'll live even better and advance step by step to the 3rd grade. Tinghejing stepped on Jiashangshu's chest and grinned. Then, he raised his head and looked around. He shouted, today, the Jia family has betrayed humanity and colluded with the barbarians. They tried to wreak havoc in Anyang and harm the citizens of the U nation. They have committed a heinous crime that cannot be forgiven. As a member of the Anyang Martial Suppression Office, I, Tinghejing, am willing to work for the people of the city and annihilate the Jia family to recover the peace of the U nation and the integrity of humanity. Whoosh! The other people from the Martial Suppression Office and the Prefecture Army followed suit. In the sky, Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows. The commotion in the Jia family's compound was huge. Pillars of light shooting into the sky, cannons, and screams. It was impossible for the people from the other factions in Anyang City not to pay attention. At this moment, hundreds of people had gathered around the Jia family's residence. They were all representatives of the major factions, either openly or secretly, and were looking in the direction of the Jia family's residence. Tinghejing's words clarified his motive for this operation. It was not a random massacre, nor was it over a grudge. Instead, it was to find traitors of humanity. To put it bluntly, it was a righteous cause. Ha! Ha! Ha ha ha! When Minister Jia heard this, he smiled weakly and said, My Jia family colluded with the barbarians. Where's the evidence? Tinghejing, where's the evidence? The other members of the Jia family who had either surrendered or were severely injured were stunned. Then, they followed closely behind and shouted angrily. Tinghejing, where's the evidence? Tinghejing, where is the evidence that we colluded with the barbarians? Without evidence, you are framing and plotting to persecute the good and loyal. Tinghejing, you destroyed the Jia family for a personal grudge today. We admit that we are weaker than you, but tomorrow, everyone in the world will remember your ugly face. Even if you die, you will be condemned by posterity. Tinghejing, you will die a horrible death. The aggrieved and furious roars of the Jia family grew louder and louder. Outside the manor, the expressions of the people from the major factions in Anyang City differed when they heard this. Ha! When Tinghejing heard this, he raised his head and laughed out loud. Evidence, is it? I'll show you. Men, dig out the hidden barbarians. Yes, the group of Martial Suppression Office members received the order and quickly dispersed to search for the barbarians. However, Bad news, Commander. The barbarians have disappeared. What? Teng Hejing's expression changed drastically. What do you mean they all disappeared? Suppressing his shock and anger, Teng Hejing growled lowly, didn't we lock onto the barbarians' hiding place long ago? Even if the Jia fellow secretly moved them, they must still be in the manor. Search. Dig 3 feet into the ground and search carefully. Those barbarians must still be in the manor. Teng Hejing ordered, his voice echoing in the ears of his subordinates. Yes. Understood. The Martial Suppression Office members calmed themselves down and spread out to search inch by inch. But the outcome was far from reassuring. It was either, nothing, no discoveries, or, we can't find them. They searched everywhere in the huge Jia family manor, but there were no signs of the barbarians. Teng Hejing's expression turned uglier and uglier. Relying on his past prestige, he could hold things down for a while. However, if he ultimately failed to find the barbarians, he would be dead meat. The Jia family's backers wouldn't need to make a move, the Martial Suppression Office's headquarters would cripple him. Moving guns and cannons into the city and besieging a martial arts family with a legacy of more than 100 years for no reason, causing the entire city to panic. Teng Hejing could not bear this responsibility, but his backer could. However, the U-Nation was not theirs to decide. Without evidence, Teng Hejing would only be abandoned. What should I do? Ha ha ha. A weak but carefree voice sounded. Jia Shangshu endured the pain in his body and laughed excitedly. Teng Hejing, where's the evidence? You slandered the Jia family for colluding with the barbarians. Where's the evidence? Without evidence, you destroyed the Jia family. You are dead meat. You and your people are dead meat. Your entire family will die with us. Ha ha ha. Teng Hejing's face was ashen. He gritted his teeth and remained silent. If he couldn't find any barbarians, everything he said would be useless. It was 100% certain that there were barbarians in the Jia family's manor. There were many of them. Even if the Jia family had secretly moved them, it was impossible for them to do so completely at once. They must still be here. However, the problem was that Teng Hejing did not have that much time to search slowly. If they did not find them before nightfall, the faction behind the Jia family would come knocking on their door. At that time. Boom! A thunderclap suddenly erupted in the sky. A sword pillar wrapped in lightning spun through the air and descended from the sky. Before anyone could react, it struck a training ground in the northwest corner of the Jia family's manor. Boom! 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 The sword beam was like a blazing sun, and the sword energy was sharp. Amidst the intense trembling, the sword pillar tore through the ground and burrowed into the ground like a high-frequency electric drill. When the electric arc stopped and the light dissipated, the sword pillar turned into a stream of light and flew back into the horizon. A hole about 5 meters in diameter was left behind. The walls were smooth and more than 100 meters deep. 100 meters below, a corner of a spacious underground space that was flickering with electric sparks and electric arcs appeared. Commander Teng, go down and see if the barbarians are inside. A calm voice sounded. Su Jingxing stepped in the empty air and walked down step by step. Good, good. Teng Hejing came back to his senses with a stammer. He took a deep breath, threw Jia Shangshu aside with an excited expression, and leaped into the air, pouncing towards the training ground. How is this possible? Jia Shangshu's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with fear, shock, and disbelief. How does this person know? How does this person know? How? Jia Shangshu's body suddenly trembled. He felt as if he had fallen into a 10,000-year-old ice cave. Ha ha ha. Teng Hejing's excited laughter came from the northwest corner and echoed in the air above the Jia family's residence. Found it, we found the barbarians. All the barbarians are down there. Whoosh! A commotion broke out inside and outside the Jia family's manor. The discussions were heated. Swoosh! 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 The people from the major factions in Anyang City could no longer hold back. They passed through the light barrier and had disappeared and entered the Jia family's manor. They headed straight for the training ground in the northwest corner and jumped into the hole. Barbarian! 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 There were barbarians everywhere. In this spacious underground space 100 meters beneath the surface, barbarians were everywhere. Some had just woken up and were snarling as they attacked. Some were in deep sleep with a few tubes attached to their bodies. Some were broken into several pieces by the excited Tinghajing. In short, there were more than 100 barbarians gathered in the huge underground space. The evidence of the Jia family colluding with the barbarians had been found, and it was irrefutable evidence. Ironclad proof that no matter who the backer of the Jia family was, would not be able to clear up, nor would they dare to. So many barbarians had appeared in Anyang City and were hidden under the Jia family's manor. The meaning it represented was too important. It had already been exposed. The Jia family is finished. They could have been finished long ago. I'm curious, when did the Jia family get so many barbarians? Most importantly, these barbarians are all wearing mechanical battle armor. What is the Jia family up to? Everyone, stop watching the show. Kill these barbarians first. I'm more than happy to. TSK, barbarians in mechanical battle armor. Ordinary 6th grade martial artists probably won't be a match for them. Bam! Bam! Boom! Accompanied by the conversations, the sound of fighting and angry roars could be heard in the underground space. Su Jingxing, who had descended from the sky, extracted card after card. Su Jingxing slowly floated to Jia Shangshu's side. Looking down from above, he asked curiously, "Who's behind you? Which faction in the capital?" Jia Shangshu did not respond. He only stared at Su Jingxing with wide eyes, panting heavily. "I'm just curious." Su Jingxing said calmly, "Even if you don't tell me, I will find out who it is. It's just a pity that you're still keeping secrets for the people behind you when you're about to die. Or do you think they can save you? Protect your family. In this situation where a large number of barbarians have been found, will they stand against everyone in the country for you?" Jia Shangshu closed his eyes in agony. After a while, he growled, "Tell me how you knew where the barbarians were hidden, and I'll answer you, who's my backer?" "Jiang Jiuyang," Su Jingxing answered cooperatively. "Who?" Jia Shangshu was stunned. Then, he gritted his teeth and said, "Who did you say it was?" "Jiang Jiuyang." Su Jingxing held back his laughter. "He was the one who told me where the barbarians were hidden." "Impossible." Jia Shangshu's eyes were red as he panted. "It's impossible for Jiang Jiuyang to know where the barbarians are. He's just a dog of the Jia family. Although I gave him a barbarian to cooperate with us, he never knew where the barbarians were truly hidden. You lied to me." A dignified third-grade expert who can penetrate 100 meters into the ground with a single sword strike actually knows how to fool people and deceive me. "I'm not lying." Su Jingxing chuckled. "Jiang Jiuyang was really the one who told me. He hooked up with your cousin, Jia Shaoqing. Through your cousin, he learned where you hid most of the barbarians." "Pooh!" A mouthful of blood was spat out. Jia Shangshu's aura swiftly weakened. Shock, anger, indignance, and deep helplessness shot out from his wide eyes. In the end, all those emotions turned into despair. Ha, ha ha ha. Jia Shangshu laid on the ground, smiling numbly. "Patriarch Jia, don't die so quickly. You haven't told me who your backer is." Su Jingxing paid attention to Jia Shangshu's aura and said calmly, "Or are you still willing to be the scapegoat for the person behind you when you're about to die? Given the Jia family's influence, they could at most affect the Dahong prefecture." The barbarians discovered were most likely spread all over the U nation. The faction that controlled it was definitely extraordinary. At the very least, it could influence the entire U nation. He. Jia Shangshu laughed bitterly and his voice became softer and softer. You're right. The Jia family is finished. There's no need to take the blame for them. Let me tell you, my backer is. Swish. A cold glint suddenly flew over from afar, sticking close to the ground as it headed straight for Jia Shangshu. Bang! Su Jingxing sent it flying from a distance with a palm strike, then threw a throwing dagger in the direction of the cold glint. The Xia family. Sensing that danger had arrived and disappeared suddenly, Jia Shangshu's face flushed red and his eyes were spewing fire. The faction behind me is the Xia family. It's too late to silence me now. Too late. Before he could finish his sentence, the agitated Jia Shangshu breathed his last. In the distance, a commissioner of command of the Martial Suppression Office who had released a hidden weapon to silence Jia Shangshu also happened to have his head penetrated by a throwing dagger and died on the spot. The Xia family. The mastermind controlling the barbarians and creating bloody crimes to bring chaos to the U nation is actually the Xia family. As the U nation's imperial family, the Xia family is actually putting on such a show behind the scenes. What are they up to? What is the purpose of capturing barbarians from the boundless mountain range, putting mechanical battle armor on them, and spreading them around in an attempt to cause chaos? The U nation was founded by their ancestors. Why would the Xia family want to harm themselves? Su Jingxing couldn't figure it out. However, at this moment, he recalled the last words of the founding ancestor of the U nation, Xia Zhangshuan. No need to have any qualms about the Xia family in the capital. At that time, Su Jingxing threw it to the back of his mind after hearing him. As long as the Xia family did not provoke him, Su Jingxing could not be bothered with them. Now that he thought about it, Xia Zhangshuan probably already knew that the Xia family was manipulating the barbarians to achieve some kind of goal. It was lamentable to think about. It was already good enough that Xia Zhangshuan was not angered to death that his descendants colluded with the barbarians to harm their home. Xia Zhangshuan had sacrificed and refined his physical body, the kingdom-defending jade seal, and a divine weapon. Through some secret method, he managed to hold on until Su Jingxing entered the void world. What was his motive for not wanting and not daring to die? It was all because of the U nation. In the end, his descendants were sabotaging him behind his back. Su Jingxing believed that if Xia Zhangshuan could leave the void world and go to the imperial capital, he would definitely kill everyone in the Xia family with one slap. Unfortunately, Xia Zhangshuan's situation at that time did not allow him to do so. Now that Su Jingxing knew the truth, he didn't mind teaching the Xia family a lesson on behalf of Xia Zhangshuan. Of course, before that, he had to settle the appointment with the martial sage tomorrow. Then, he would forge the kingdom-defending jade seal. The Xia family's influence spread all over the country. Su Jingxing would not be able to handle all the barbarians scattered in the various places alone. He had to work with the cabinet or the rest of the 5 major martial arts families. An operation so decentralized had to be completed in one go. Otherwise, the future troubles would be too great. Crippling and destroying the Xia family in the capital had to be considered at length. After some thought, Su Jingxing continued to extract cards. He only left after all the barbarians in the underground space were killed. Teng Hejing and the others watched Su Jingxing disappear into the horizon. If Su Jingxing was willing, he could take most of the assets and resources left behind after the Jia family's destruction. Even if he took all of them, Teng Hejing wouldn't say anything. However, these things could not be dealt with so quickly. Su Jingxing was not short of money either. He was not interested in pills, martial arts, or spirit weapons. Su Jingxing had already obtained the most important thing. Stepping on Thunderbolt, he returned to Qinghe City at his fastest speed. Back at his small courtyard at the foot of the mountain, Su Jingxing opened his palm space and took out the cards he had extracted. He read their information one by one. In the end, he obtained 1 true essence card, 32 true energy cards, 18 skill cards, 2 memory cards, 1 deduction card, 42 martial arts practice cards, and 56 mighty strength cards. There were 93 internal force cards. The remaining equipment cards, essence energy cards, and strength enhancement cards added up to more than 200. The martial arts practice cards and the mighty strength cards mainly came from barbarian corpses. The other cards came from members of the Jia family. Oh right, there was also an invisibility card, from the shadow demon frog back at the Black Flame Caves. The 2 memory cards contained the memories of the Jia family's martial artists. Su Jingxing took a look and found nothing outstanding. After unlocking them, they naturally dissipated. The deduction card only contained 2 deduction chances, and each with 1/3 success rate. The True Essence card contained 9 years of True Essence cultivation. The cultivation in the True Energy cards varied from 1 to 13 years. For now, Su Jingxing was in no hurry to unlock and absorb them. He stored them away for now. Right now, the most important thing for him was to deal with tomorrow's appointment with New Chu's martial sage. Before sunset, he had to appear on Giant Shark Island. Su Jingxing was considering whether to use his essence soul or his main body. The blood doppelganger was the most suitable, but New Chu's martial sage Chu might be able to see through the structure of a pure energy body. Exposing his doppelganger was one problem. New Chu's martial sage using this as an excuse to attack the U-Nation was another. Therefore, the one attending had to be either the essence soul or main body. However, the problem was that Su Jingxing's main body was still in the 3rd grade, even though his true essence cultivation had exceeded 200 years. However, against New Chu's martial sage physical body, he probably wouldn't be able to gain much advantage. If New Chu's martial sage managed to see through him, the consequences would be too great. The U-Nation's new martial sage was merely a 3rd-grade martial artist. If news of this were to spread, the morale of the U-Nation would plummet. Although few people would believe this. Given New Chu's martial sage scheming nature, he would definitely cause trouble. This wasn't something that Su Jingxing could handle with just 3 shots of spirit annihilation. Even if spirit annihilation was lucky and killed the physical body of New Chu's martial sage, his essence soul would still remain. Therefore, after much thought, Su Jingxing decided to go there with his essence soul. An essence soul in the 3rd class of void soul could temporarily withstand the roasting of the sun. At most, Su Jingxing would arrive at Giant Shark Island a second before sunset. Right, Giant Shark Island was located out at sea, about 100 kilometers away from land. The sea region was not covered in U-Nation's Void World area. The Void World only overlapped the land. To go out to sea, the essence soul had to leave the Void World and fly to the Giant Shark Island. Once he left the Void World, he had to end this quickly. What if there were monsters in the Void World? Suddenly, Su Jingxing's essence soul in the Void World felt a chill in its heart and turned to look at the darkness in the north. The wandering dragon saber floating beside him circled around his body and emitted a glow. In the essence soul's vision, a familiar snake-like creature poked its head out of the darkness. The thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast. Another thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast that could release a tornado emerged from the darkness. The moment the essence soul spotted the other party, it was overjoyed. Good, you came at the perfect time. Su Jingxing was planning to meet New Chu's martial sage with his essence soul. It was wonderful that another thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast appeared at this time. After collecting 3 of the equipment cards extracted after killing the thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast, he would be able to obtain a thunder dragon bone armor. The thunder dragon bone armor was a defensive soul treasure. Su Jingxing's essence soul would feel a great boost in confidence in drawing against New Chu's martial sage once it had it. Of course, if it wanted the thunder dragon bone armor, it had to kill this thunder-hidden dragon beard beast that had come out of the darkness first. Buzz. Su Jingxing observed that the wandering dragon saber floating beside him suddenly trembled and the glow it was emitting became increasingly intense. Through the mental connection, Su Jingxing was surprised to discover that the wandering dragon saber actually had plans to attack the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast. Earlier, when the beast appeared, the wandering dragon saber released a glow. This was a warning from the divine weapon. Now that the wandering dragon saber wanted to attack the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast, it was no longer as simple as a matter of self-defense. Clearly, the wandering dragon saber's soul or blade spirit had been born. Sensing this, Su Jingxing was overjoyed. With this, he could head to the giant shark island with his essence soul and not worry about the void world anymore. He just had to leave the wandering dragon saber behind. Divine weapons let out warnings and attacked on their own accord. The wandering dragon saber could kill ordinary void world monsters with its own strength. If Su Jingxing's essence soul sensed something like the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast, it could rush back immediately. With this in mind, the pressure on Su Jingxing lessened greatly. While he relaxed, he was also wary of the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast. The snake-like body of the void beast left the darkness section by section. Its cold eyes were fixed on Su Jingxing's essence soul from the beginning as it inched closer. Crack! Crack! Electric arcs flashed, and lightning shot out from the sides of the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast. Swish! Swish! Activating sword eyes, the eyes of the essence soul lit up as they shot straight towards the beast. Rip! Rip! The thunder-hidden dragon beard beast twisted its body but did not dodge. Instead, it took the blow head-on. Crack! Boom! Boom! In the real world below, thunder rumbled in the sky. In the void world, electric arcs coiled around the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast. Enduring the attack from sword eyes, it slithered and pounced towards Su Jingxing's essence soul. Hoo! A strange fishy smell swept out. The thunder-hidden dragon beard beast opened its mouth and released an invisible blast. The essence soul was already prepared. With a sprint, it dodged the attack. Then, with the wandering dragon saber in hand, it pushed close to the beast. Swish! 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 The Nine Souls ring was released. It split into 9 rings that burned with flames as they flew towards the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast from all directions. Crack! Crack! Boom! 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 Lightning bloomed and electric arcs danced. Lightning shot out from the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast's body to intercept the 9 rings, but it could not stop Su Jingxing's essence soul from approaching. Swoosh! 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 Su Jingxing's essence soul dashed forward quickly, avoiding the electric arcs. It darted left and right, flipping and jumping. When it found an opportunity, it slashed at the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast with the wandering dragon saber in midair. With a ripping sound, the powerful defense of the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast was broken through on the spot, and a wound appeared on its body. This being the 3rd thunder-hidden dragon beard beast he was fighting, Su Jingxing already had experience. Whether it was the sword eyes or the 9 souls ring, they were all just distractions. The real killing move was by the wandering dragon saber. The sharpness of a divine weapon could break through the defense of the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast with just one slash. As such, Su Jingxing's essence soul flashed quickly, avoiding the sweep of the beast's tail and the electric arcs. His figure moved quickly again, flipping and rising into the air. When it found an opportunity, the wandering dragon saber continued to aim at the wound and streaked across at lightning speed. Roar! An angry roar reverberated through the void world. Swoosh! 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 Ignoring the furious roars of the thunder-hidden dragon beard beast. Su Jingxing's essence soul turned into a mass of afterimages as it surrounded the beast, slashed out rapidly. Each slash was faster and heavier than the previous. Under this frequency, the wounds on the thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast continued to widen. Roar! The thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast was forced into a state of madness. Its snake-like body moved faster, either chasing or dodging the essence soul's slashes. Crack! Boom! Boom! Occasionally, Su Jingxing's essence soul would be affected by the electric arcs, but Su Jingxing ignored them and did not stop at all. He swung the wandering dragon saber and attacked faster. PLKCH. 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 Crack. Crack. Boom boom boom. Saber beams, thunder, flames, and electric arcs bloomed non-stop. The 9 rings of the 9 souls ring left marks on the injured body of the thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast, aggravating its injuries. The beast could not dodge. In the end, it actually became afraid. It suddenly gave up on attacking Su Jingxing and dashed towards the darkness. Trying to escape. Su Jingxing's essence soul saw this and shouted coldly. The wandering dragon saber left his grip, and the power of the divine weapon was instantly driven to the extreme. It shot out and struck a hideous wound on the fleeing thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast. The entire saber pierced through the body of the beast and came out from the other side. Roar! The thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast's furious and painful roar was deafening. Crack! Crack! The electric arcs that bloomed around it were extremely dense. But this did not stop Su Jingxing from continuing his attacks. He connected his mind to the wandering dragon saber and circulated the power of the divine weapon. Starting from the penetrated wound, he sliced towards the head of the beast. Just like dissecting an eel, he split the thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast into 2. Roar! Bang! With a final roar, the 2 halves of the body quickly faded and dissipated. Card +1. A notification flashed. Compared to last time, Su Jingxing's essence soul had suffered relatively light injuries this time. It left the wandering dragon saber behind for an early warning in the void world. Then, the essence soul descended from the border membrane and landed in the small courtyard at the foot of the mountain. At the same time, his main body took out the card he had extracted from his palm space. An equipment card. As expected, after killing the 3rd thunder-hidden dragon-beard beast, he obtained the same equipment card again. In other words, he had gathered all 3 equipment cards he needed to unlock the thunder dragon bone armor. Suppressing his excitement, Su Jingxing unlocked 3 cards in an instant. Whoosh! With a flash of white light, a purple armor with a bone shell appeared out of thin air. Su Jingxing sensed for a moment and realized that the thunder dragon bone armor could be shrunk and expanded at will. The essence soul immediately released its soul power and left Su Jingxing's imprint on the thunder dragon bone armor. The next moment. Whoosh! The thunder dragon bone armor was divided into several pieces that stuck to Su Jingxing's essence soul and automatically formed a battle armor. Its palms, feet, head, and face were all covered up. Its entire head now looked like a hideous dragon's head. The dragon eyes corresponded with its eyes. Not only were there no changes to its vision, it even had semi-X-ray vision now. Or rather, it could see through one's nature. Su Jingxing pondered. Without giving it much thought, Su Jingxing controlled his essence soul and physical body to adapt to the function of the thunder dragon bone armor. Defense went without saying. The second discovery was that the thunder dragon bone armor could actually block out perception. Su Jingxing could control his main body to make myriad transformations, but the essence soul could not. At most, between maintaining a state of illusion or corporealness, the essence soul could release a glow, making it difficult to look at it directly. However, such concealment was useless against a martial sage of the same realm. As a result, Su Jingxing couldn't hide his essence soul even if he wanted to. Su Jingxing had prepared to be exposed when he went to the giant shark island this time. In his essence soul state, he was mainly a soul, which had the appearance of Earth Su Jingxing. Once exposed, even if Nu Chu's martial sage wanted to find Su Jingxing's main body, there wouldn't be any clues for him. At most, he would sigh that Su Jingxing was a peerless genius who had advanced to the transcendent grade at such a young age. This was because the essence soul's appearance was based on the moment the divine embryo was condensed. The essence soul that was formed when one was 100 years old would carry one's appearance at 100 years old. When condensed at the age of 20, the essence soul would have the appearance at 20 years old. Given Su Jingxing's essence soul state, at such a young age, wouldn't he be considered a genius among geniuses? But now, with the Thunder Dragon bone armor, there was no need to worry about Nu Chu's martial sage seeing through him. The Thunder Dragon bone armor perfectly blocked out all perception. When Su Jingxing put on the Thunder Dragon bone armor, nothing could be sensed using one's essence soul, let alone see his true appearance through it. All Nu Chu's martial sage could see was a dragon-headed mask. The ability of the Thunder Dragon bone armor perfectly resolved this problem of exposure. In this world, there was only one person who had seen Su Jingxing's true appearance. The founding ancestor of the Yu nation, Xia Cangshuan. However, this ancestor of the Xia family had completely dissipated. Su Jingxing currently had no future troubles. He continued the test. Even the Heaven Origin Saber, Sword Eyes, the Tiangang Demon Suppression Hand, and the Nine Souls Ring could not leave a mark on the armor. Compared to the Thunder Hidden Dragon Beard Beast, the defense of the Thunder Dragon bone armor was even more terrifying. As for the 100 Steps Raining Fist, Air-Splitting Palm, and other attacks that consumed true energy in true essence, the Thunder Dragon bone armor ignored them all. Not only could it perfectly neutralize them, it could also turn them into nothing. The Thunder Dragon bone armor was similar to the essence soul. Once it turned illusory, physical attacks and ordinary energy attacks could not hit it. Only soul skills, divine weapons, and treasures that were related to the soul would be effective. Of course, it would be difficult for ordinary divine weapons and treasures to break through the Thunder Dragon bone armor too. In his essence soul state, Su Jingxing wore the Thunder Dragon bone armor and returned to the void world. He controlled the Wandering Dragon Saber to hack at the Thunder Dragon bone armor. In the end, it only left a mark on the surface of the armor. From this, one could imagine how strong the defense of the Thunder Dragon bone armor was. Su Jingxing put it on using his essence soul and got used to it for an entire night. When the sun rose high the next day and hung above the sky, Su Jingxing's essence soul calmly descended to the small courtyard at the foot of the mountain. He took out 12 soul-splitting cards, 4 of them in a stack, and divided them into 3 stacks. He hid them in the hands and chest of the Thunder Dragon bone armor. 3 shots of spirit annihilation were ready to be released at any time. Putting down the mask of this armor, Su Jingxing's essence soul walked out of the small courtyard at the foot of the mountain and headed for the East Sea. Only the Kaiyuan prefecture of Yu nation was close to the sea. Giant Shark Island was located to the east of the Kaiyuan prefecture, close to Nu Chu nation. The entire island's area was slightly more than 100 square kilometers. There were no residents on the island, only some minerals. The name, Giant Shark Island, did not come about because there were sharks around the island, but because the overall shape of the island resembled a shark. In particular, the small mountain range in the center of the island was towering in a straight line, very similar to the sickle fin of a shark. As a result, from the side, the entire island looked like a giant shark floating on the sea. Because there were only minerals, almost no one visited Giant Shark Island in the past. However, early this morning, before dawn, large ships or warships appeared on the sea and approached the island. By the time the sun rose, many figures had already appeared on the small islands near Giant Shark Island. Yu Nation, Nu Chu Nation, Hong Nation, Guang Nation, Yu Nation. People from every country in the 13 countries of the Eastern continent had come to watch today's show. A duel between martial sages. Oh, no, two martial sages from opposing countries were having a meeting. Just the thought of it was exciting, even if they didn't get physical. However, was it possible not to? I'm afraid the newly advanced martial sage of the U-Nation doesn't have much capabilities, right? Speaking of which, New Chu's martial sage is also an old schemer. He's clearly harboring ill intentions, inviting the U-Nation's martial sage to a banquet at this time. What can we do? If the martial sage of the U-Nation doesn't come today, the New Chu's martial sage will definitely keep his word and bring himself to the U-Nation early tomorrow morning. That's why I said that New Chu's martial sage Chu is too crafty. The old Xiang family has been plotting against the U-Nation for so many years. They might really succeed this time. That's right. Once New Chu annexes the U-Nation, the #1 overlord nation in the eastern continent will appear. In the future, we'll probably have to take cues from the old Xiang family. Sigh. Near the giant Shark Island, the martial artists from the major factions of the various countries gathered in groups and discussed animatedly. On the coastline of the Kaiyuan prefecture across the sea, early in the morning, countless citizens from the Kaiyuan prefecture and the neighboring prefectures rushed to the beach in cars and carpools. They looked in the direction of the giant Shark Island and waited excitedly, nervously, and blankly. Over the past few days, under the guidance and publicity of the government, they learned that the existence of a martial sage not only represented the strongest group of experts on Earth Star, but they were also present in every country. The significance of a martial sage was also announced. A martial sage was an indispensable martial spirit for a nation. Finally, a subtle reminder was given that only with a martial sage would they not have to fear the barbarians in the boundless mountain range. There were also top experts among the barbarians that only martial sages could contend against. With all these factors combined, the citizens of the U-Nation had basically accepted the existence of the martial sage and sincerely worshipped and yearned for him. It was only because Su Jingxing had yet to forge the kingdom-defending jade seal, otherwise, he would certainly be able to produce several Saint Origin fruits right now. Do you think our martial sage can win? He will definitely win. So what if the other party is New Chu's martial sage? I believe that the martial sage of the U-Nation is not weaker than anyone. That's right, New Chu's martial sage is ambitious. His scheme will never succeed. Unfortunately, we're too far away to see what our martial sage looks like. Needless to say, he must be handsome and cool. Shallow. Does a martial sage need to be handsome and cool? Just his temperament alone is unique in the world. However, it's indeed quite unsatisfying to be so far away. Hee, you guys don't understand. Those people went to the vicinity of the giant Shark Island to witness history, but they forgot how terrifying the shockwaves released when martial sages fight are. That's right, that's right. When martial sages makes a move, it will definitely be earth-shattering. Those people are so close, they won't be able to escape then. That's right. Perhaps we will be implicated here too. Everyone discussed animatedly, the fighting spirit was high. No one thought that the martial sage of the U-Nation would be too afraid to appear. What they were concerned about was whether the martial sage could win and how long he would take. Under such an atmosphere, countless people stood by the sea and looked in the direction of giant Shark Island. From morning to noon, from noon to evening. As the sun began to set, a ball of light comparable to the sun suddenly appeared in the distant horizon. Whoosh!